are back here on Football Talk, Sports Talk, whatever you want to call it.
We're just
the first show. It's the inaugural show. Give me a break, people. All right, let me tell you what. Denver at Jacksonville. We're going to start off right off the bat. Denver, Jacksonville. That's a pretty boring game, but I got to say, I think Denver's... Actually, no. Who do you think is going to win that one? And I'll tell you mine.
I'm going to go with Jacksonville.
I'm going to go with Jacksonville, too. I think Jacksonville has a better running game. I mean, does Denver even have a running game?
Maurice Jones-Drew is... well, I mean, Denver's got Moreno, but...
That's fine.
He doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, I mean, I really do think... I think I'm going to take Jacksonville. Oakland at Tennessee.
Oh. Oakland at Tennessee. Well, let's just start off with 2 words, okay? Chris Johnson.
Chris Johnson, baby.
Chris Johnson.
I am going to go with Tennessee. You got that?
I have to go with Tennessee. I have to go with Tennessee. Chris Johnson, last year, Chris Johnson said he was going to set records in the NFL. This year he said he wants to break the record. He wants to break the record.
I think he will.
For most yards in a season.
I think he will.
And
he will.
You know what? They had an interview with Jeff Fisher, and Jeff Fisher was talking about how Chris Johnson, every time he says he's going to do something, he does it. So you mark my words, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Johnson is breaking records this season. He's getting the all-time leading rushing yardage for one season, regular season, this year.
I don't know about that. They do play some pretty good defenses this year. I mean, so we'll have to see about that one. Do we have to do this next one, people?
Wait a minute. I'm
what?
not done with Tennessee yet.
Oh.
You do have a point there because the offensive line suffered a blow with Kevin Mawai leaving. So, I mean,
that is my point.
That center gap's not going to be open. So it's going to be interesting to see if Chris Johnson can make the moves without that star-studded center line.
Now, you know what's next on this list. Do we have to?
We have to do this because
we are obligated to.
There are fans out there.
That is why we have to do this next one.
There are fans out there from each team. Detroit, Chicago.
At Chicago.
Detroit, Chicago. Detroit. Speaking of Tennessee, Detroit took one of the defensive ends from Tennessee, Kyle Vanden Bosch. So we'll see what happens with that one. But
here's who I think wins that game. I really do feel Chicago will win that game. I think Detroit is still going to have problems. I think Chicago does win that game.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how Jay Cutler performs for Chicago. I mean, it's going to be very difficult. But he's a hit or miss quarterback.
He is.
There are games where he'll be great, but like I said, that Chicago defense, you're going to have Julius Peppers, you're going to have Brian Urlacher on the same team. They're going to be making some hits. If anything, win or lose, you're going to see some good hits.
We are going to see some good hits. Cincinnati at New England. This is going to be a shootout. Think of the great wide receivers here. Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, Chad Johnson. I refuse to call him Ocho Cinco, so Chad Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, you got Wes Welker up in there, too. You got, it's...
Who do you think wins this?
You know what? I think the Patriots win this game. I mean, Tom Brady's happy. Yep. He's got a 4-year extension on his contract.
Are we going to stop agreeing on these things because we're going to have the same record?
Listen, here's the thing. This is my reason for Cincinnati not winning this game. You have Chad Ochocinco and Terrell Owens on the same team. 2 of the biggest egos in the NFL. Do you see them getting along? Because I don't.
I do at first, and I think it's going to all implode.
They're not.
But still, I think Tom Brady's a much better quarterback than Carson Palmer. So, unfortunately, yes, I do think the Patriots do win this game as well.
Okay.
Do we have to do this game too? Cleveland at Tampa Bay, people.
Tampa Bay.
I do think Cleveland actually wins this one.
And see, I'm going with Tampa Bay.
There we go. So it's all going to be decided. Right. Who would have thought Cleveland at Tampa Bay would be the one that decides our record right here?
Okay, well, I'm saying Tampa Bay for the simple fact that Josh Freeman, their quarterback, has done a lot of improvement in the offseason. I mean, a month before offseason training even started, this guy was out there on the field 8 in the morning working with wide receivers and passing routes. The only problem he has is last year he had 19 interceptions.
Josh Johnson stinks.
Josh Freeman,
mark my words. Josh, whatever his name is,
Listen,
he stinks.
Okay, I'll tell you what.
Let me tell you something. No, let me tell you something
you can
right
say
here.
Whatever you want.
Okay, Tampa Bay is probably going to go down as the worst team in the league this year. And I got that on record. Tampa Bay will be the worst team when it's all said and done at Week 16. There it is. It will not be Detroit anymore, people. It will be Tampa Bay because they're brutally bad.
What do I have to say about
Brutal.
that? What do I have to say about that?
How about this? Atlanta at Pittsburgh. Whew, I'm going to go with Atlanta.
I'm going with Pittsburgh. My boy Troy Polamalu. Let's see.
Yeah, you gotta get right out of those Head and Shoulders commercials. Speaking of commercials, we'll be right back. We're gonna take a break, and we'll be right back here on Sports Talk. I know that.
Yeah, he just sits and watches the people in the boxes. Everything he sees.